love this man. I'm not just saying because he's listening to my introduction of him or for the fact that he had me write a blurb for his book. And I was referred to in the back of this book as a sports broadcasting legend, which I greatly appreciate that terminology.
Did you write that part too?
I did not. I did not. The occasionally accurate annals of football where all your books can be acquired. The great Dan Patrick here. How are you, DP? How are you?
I'm great, legend. I'm great.
I am legend. I am legend. Fun book, DP. This is a fun book. Congrats on it. How did this come about, sir? Bring on.
Joel Cohen writes for The Simpsons.
Okay.
And he called me up and he said, would you be interested in being on a Simpsons episode?
Yeah.
And I said, of course. I said, as long as I'm not playing myself, absolutely. He said, yeah, you'll be a play-by-play guy. Homer is in a rock skipping contest, and you'll be the play-by-play voice.
Yeah.
And I said, you got me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he goes, I got a couple of questions. We don't get to vent like you get to every day, but me and my friends have a couple of questions. So he started running down all these things that he had problems with football. And then we played a game of verbal tennis. Like he would send me something and then I'd send it back. And then we just started talking. And then he goes, I wrote down this stuff while we're talking. Would you want to write a book? And I go, yeah. I didn't think we were going to write a book, but he said, do you want to write a book? And I go, yeah, okay. More importantly, let me know when you want me to do the Simpsons episode.
That's right.
So he gets back to me.
Importantly, right.
Yes. And he goes, hey, I got somebody interested in the book. And I go, what book? And he goes, no, the book we're talking about. And he goes, I got Andy Richter, some guys from Saturday Night Live. And like everybody has, I said, so basically you guys can write a book for me.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, no, you have to have some input.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. So we just kind of went over topics and nothing was off limits because most of these books, when you think of the NFL, the books are serious. They're about gladiators. They're about men. They're about moments, all of these things. And we were like, we're not about any of that stuff. We want to talk about Kenny Stabler with bacon rolled cigarettes that he used to smoke. Like anything that's silly, have fun, butt fumble. We made a sermon out of the Immaculate Reception. We just had fun with it. And hopefully everybody else will go into it with a sense of humor.
And in that vein, here's a question I got for you. I don't think I've ever asked this of you. Because, being let me get this back here, a sports broadcasting legend of my own right, I noticed when you were handing out the Lombardi Trophy, those multiple Super Bowls for the NBC and the Peacock Network, there would be like a tug of war with the microphone with an owner. It's just one. Who was the one with the most kung fu like grip that you had a tug of war with the most for a microphone on that podium again?
The co-owner of the Giants, Steve Tisch.
Really?
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened?
Well, you never give up the microphone.
Ever.
So here I am on the podium. There's 100 million people watching this. And he grabs the microphone. And so he thinks that I'm going to just give it to him and then he's going to go in. He's going to ad lib. He's going to vent. He's going to do whatever he's going to do. I'm pulling it back. So you see his hand pulling the microphone and it's only moving about, 4 or 5 inches, like to his side. And then I'm bringing it back and he's not giving it up. I mean, he is going to get that microphone. And I have my producer in my ear who's saying, do not give up that bleeping microphone. I got 100 million people watching, and this is what's going on. I got Steve Tisch grabbing the microphone, and I am pulling as hard as I can to make sure that he doesn't get the microphone. Finally, he gives up.
Yeah.
He releases, and then I hold the microphone there. Jeffrey Lurie of the Eagles.
Okay.
He goes, hey, when we get done, I got one more thing I want to say. So it's usually 2 questions. And then all of a sudden, he surprised me and he grabbed the microphone. He got it.
A brotherly shove.
He got it.
He got a brotherly shove before the brotherly shove.
So, I've had awkward moments on the podium where Eli won the MVP. And then he, I think, had a Toyota sponsorship or Nissan, and it was a black-on-black Corvette, and he had won the MVP. They give you a card. So I got a card, and I'm reading it. I look down, I go, and such blank, Eli Manning, you are the Super Bowl MVP. And as a result, you get this black-on-black Chevy Corvette, blah, 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 blah. I finish. I got the keys. And I look up, and Eli is off the podium.
What?
And so I'm holding the keys to the Corvette.
And?
He walked off.
Yeah.
And I yell while I'm on the podium. I turn around. I'm like, Eli! He comes back up, and I basically said, here's your damn keys. And then I find out later that he didn't want to be associated with Chevrolet.
He bolted. He ghosted.
Yes. And I came this close to saying to Tom Brady after Malcolm Butler had the interception, shouldn't you give Malcolm the try? I almost said that. I almost guilted Brady into giving Malcolm the truck. And I thought, that's not my job.
Yeah.
My job is just to say hello to the commissioner, couple interviews, send everybody on their merry way, and good night, everybody. Back up to you, Bob Costas. And I almost said, because I really believe that. It's like Tom got the MVP. All right, great. Malcolm should get the truck. Tom.
Give him the truck. But Brockman just got in my ear. Did he do that? Did he actually give him the truck?
Yeah, he ended up later.
There you go.
Yeah, I know.
Great minds, Dan.
I know.
Great minds.
I know.
And plus, now I'm mandated to say, with Eli ghosting you like that, now you know how most of us feel like going out with you for a night of drinks, Dan, at the end of the night.
Wow.
Do you mind me going there with you?
Yeah, I always have exit strategy. I am a professional.
You are.
I do it to my family, though, Rich.
Do you
just
really?
To be honest. Yes.
So I shouldn't take it.
No.
personally.
We'll have a party.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my wife knows that poof, I'll just disappear.
You'll do it to Sue? Are you serious?
Yes,
You really
yes,
will?
I do. Yeah, and my kids know it too. They'll be, where's Dad? Bed? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Weddings, even at your own kid's wedding?
No.
Okay.
No, nothing like that.
All right.
No.
Okay.
I know my place. Yeah. Yes. We had a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like 11:30 and it had been raging the whole time. And I'm just tired. And the bartender's gone, and then I'm thinking, all right, it's time for me to go to bed. The Stones are playing. I mean, the music was playing, not the Stones themselves.
Yes,
but
sir. Yes.
it's blaring, it's blasting down in my basement. And I get ready to sneak upstairs. And I got 50 guys in the basement. And my wife goes, where are you going? And I go, to bed? She goes, no, you're not. So I tried to sneak out of the basement and tried to stay down there for like an hour and a half later until everybody left.
Dan Patrick here on the Rich Eisen Show, the new book. Everyone should get it, The Occasionally Accurate Annals of Football. Dan Patrick and Joel H. Cohen, a Simpsons writer. Fun stuff. Yeah. What'd you make of the Dallas win last night, Dan? Ask you a serious football question.
Whoa.
What do you make of it? Yeah, I mean to go straight to the actual.
I think the bigger story, it's not going to be the bigger story, but I think it should be, is the Chargers. Because the Cowboys played a good enough game to win. Mm-hmm. The Chargers played a good enough game that they could have won, but they didn't. And you got plays from Dallas and you didn't get plays from the Chargers. And you got this fourth quarter problem with that coach and that quarterback. And they're all in on Justin Herbert because they signed him up. But, I mean, you start to look at the Chargers. They got a lot of talent, but they do not have a bottom line that's respected. And what happened in the playoffs last year, Dallas rebounding the way they did and winning a game like that is, important. I don't know if it's impressive, but it's important. But I look at the Chargers, where are they going? They got Kansas City coming up next weekend. So that was my takeaway from it, that this is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL the first three quarters, and one of the worst quarterbacks in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yeah. It's just their hallmarks. The Chargers are incredibly talented players. And then invariably there's going to be a fourth and short placed in front of Brandon Staley for either a weird decision that backfires or one where you think all the way up until the snap that this is going to be a weird decision that backfires. And then they lose like last night. And you're wondering, I guess, if they're going to be able to mount anything. Whose conference is it, do you think, in the AFC, Dan? Is it Miami's, Buffalo's, anybody in the AFC North, or is it still the Chiefs' world? What do you got for me on that front?
Still feels like it's the Chiefs. Yeah. It just, as long as you got Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid, it feels like they can make things work. And probably going to have to go to their place too, which gives them a decided advantage.
Right.
Back to Justin Herbert, I said this on my show today. Mm-hmm. Imagine if he played for the Giants or played for the Cowboys and the amount of scrutiny that you face. Like, he is fortunate to be in L.A. where, Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, USC, maybe the Clippers, and then you have the Chargers. So there's not a spotlight on him. And we look at Danny Dimes trying to survive. Dak Prescott, no matter what he does, he's going to be scrutinized. But I think and look, I love him. He's been great. Known him since his Oregon days. But, there's a real concern here. And then you have guys like Mahomes wins these kind of games. That's the difference. Like, we're still waiting for Josh Allen to win this kind of game, a big, big, big game. Jalen Hurts, what he did in the Super Bowl. So Joe Burrow goes to the Super Bowl. You're starting to see these quarterbacks that they win these games. And the Chargers, they have a lot of 3-point games or less, and they don't have a winning record in that.
And what will make it worse, Dan, is if Tua goes, the guy who he's supposed to have been this entire time of his career, the proper choice to draft was Herbert, not Tua. And now look at what Tua's doing right now. McDaniel dialing it up. It's a totally topsy-turvy narrative right now compared to everything else.
Yeah, you start to look at these coaches, and coaches get fired because they don't find their quarterback. You have to have your quarterback. Chargers have their quarterback, but that coach may get fired. Sean Payton, does he have his quarterback? We don't know. Sean McVay found his quarterback with Matthew Stafford. Although Jared Goff deserves to be at least mentioned with the MVP candidates.
Agreed. For sure.
But he's not, because I think we still look at, I don't know what we know to think of the Lions. Like, are they still like a fun story and cute? And I mean, they're formidable. They beat teams by 14 points or more. They dominate you. And I looked at Jared Goff's numbers the last 16 games going back to last year. 13-3, completing 67% of his passes, 28 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The only quarterback this year who is in the top 5 in completion percentage, touchdown, interception ratio, yards. And the only other person who's been better is Tua. So if Brock Purdy's in there, then I think that Jared Goff should be in there as well.
1,000,000%. The reason why we don't talk about him is a handful of reasons. One, he got traded, right? So the Rams decided you're not the guy here anymore. Yeah. So that's a certain narrative. Number 2 is he's not out there selling State Farm or anything like that. Number 3 is we in the media, I think, are more focused on the coach, who, by the way, has done everything that he said he wanted to do at Detroit with the exception of the actual cannibalism. So, I mean, you put it all together, they are doing what they set out to do. And the most surprising aspect about it is Goff playing like he's playing. I thought everybody would, in Detroit, for them to reach that point, they would have had to have drafted somebody and grown with them. But Goff appears to be the guy. The latest example of don't go so crazy if your drafted quarterback takes 6-7 years to develop in this league. DP,
well, I've been saying with Anthony Richardson, I never would have started him. I said at the beginning of the year, you got Gardner Minshew, high-end backup quarterback. Let him understand the complexities of the game, because he's still trying to play the way he did at Florida. And he wasn't a consistent quarterback. He had highlight moments, and he got injured every game. And now he's probably gone for the season. It's like Bryce Young. I like him, but, you throw these guys in there, and sometimes, I look at David Carr, who's as talented as I've seen, but he played for a terrible Texans team. He got sacked more than any other quarterback to start his career, and I don't think he ever got confidence back. And that's the one thing at that position. You got to have confidence. And when that goes, your quarterback goes. And, some of these kids C.J. Stroud is proving me wrong, though, the way he's played. But, some of these guys that are out there and don't have a lot of weapons, you're kind of risking their future. And a lot of these guys are going to get, they'll have this one contract, and then they might be a backup quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky, Ryan Tannehill, those guys who get recycled there. And a lot of it's because you don't have weapons around them.
What's your favorite story from the book that's, I guess, can give people an idea of what it's all about, DP? What do you got for me?
We had somebody who wanted to contribute as to how he became a Vikings fan, and it's sad, but it's really funny.
Okay.
And, yeah.
All right.
And he said to prepare for being a Vikings fan, he used to sleep naked with the windows open, just so he knew he was channeling Bud Grant. Like that,
wow.
If you're going to be a Vikings fan, you sleep naked with the windows open and just absorb that cold. And that's what we love.
I wouldn't have associated sleeping naked in the cold with Bud Grant, but so I guess that's an interesting.
Yeah, but Bud Grant never had heaters on the sidelines. When they were playing. These poor guys are playing outside in Minnesota, and you couldn't have a heater on the sidelines. Bud Grant, but you're a legend, so
I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Last one for you. Do you ever dream you're back on SportsCenter? Because I do. Do you ever get those dreams that you're back?
That I am going to the set.
Me too. And I'm late. I'm late. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You do have that.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I dream that I'm not prepared and I'm getting to the set. Another one I have is I'm on campus and I can't find the classroom. And which actually happened a lot, but I didn't want to find the classroom.
Right.
But I just remember I can't find the classroom. Yeah. Something about this job where you're down to like seconds, minutes. Like you have to account for everything and you have to be on time. And going to SportsCenter set, starts at 11 Eastern. You better be on time. And I just remember getting there, and then one other thing that comes up. I know you're up against a break.
No, go ahead. Take it. I got it. Don't worry.
I did a show on a Sunday night, and Stuart Scott was with me, and we start. So SportsCenter Tees starts, and all of a sudden, Stuart puts some drops in his eye.
Right.
Well, he loses his contact.
Oh my gosh.
He gets up, walks off the set. SportsCenter comes up. I'm on camera by myself. Stuart's not even there. I had to do Stuart's intros and Stuart's highlights. I had to do the entire first 15 minutes. I would be me, and then I would say, like, can I get a witness from the congregation? Booyah! As cool as the other side of the pillow.
Oh, my. Now, I did 7 years, as you know, basically with him. That never happened with me, ever. Not once.
And he came back during the commercial break.
Yeah.
And didn't say a word. He didn't say a word.
Not like, hey, man, I got,
I'm sorry.
This thing happened.
I hung you out
what
to
had
dry.
happened was. Yeah, right.
Yes. He never said anything. Not, hey, thanks for, picking me up. Nothing.
Oh,
so
man.
if you watch SportsCenter, you're like, and Jason Jackson, who worked with us at SportsCenter, he goes, I'm tuning in to Sunday Night SportsCenter, and I'm thinking, wait, Dan is doing solo, and then Stuart comes back the second, segment, and they go, wait, did they not let Stuart do the first? Like, what's he doing to a brother here? He's not letting him do the first segment. And I'm going, he lost his contact lens. Never said anything. And then we just proceeded to do the rest of SportsCenter. He had lost his contact lens.
I saw you did you had an interview recently where you talked about Stewart's competitive spirit. And I saw that, and I thought to me, I don't know if you ever told this to you, when KO left and that seat next to you, it was kind of like a Game of Thrones type moment for the rest of us to try and get that seat sitting next to you back in the day. And Stewart knew that I was interested in it. He took me aside. He goes, why are you doing that? He goes, the two of us are better than the two of them or anything you could do with him. And he meant that, like deep down in his bones. He thought like we should compete against, not try to join with, is what he thought. I thought about that when I saw that. But you said, you know.
Yeah, we didn't have a good relationship, but we had respect for one another. And I think, there was a lot of jealousy. There was competitiveness, rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't view it that way.
I'm sure you didn't.
but he did. And, that was just him. Stewart was a very competitive guy, and whatever made him better. And later in his life, we kind of came to an understanding with each other. And I had total respect for him getting to the ESPYs and that speech that he gave. And, it was wonderful. But, it was a tough environment at SportsCenter because it was extremely competitive. And, there wasn't camaraderie as much as people would think that there was camaraderie. And so I Stewart and I certainly had that. Even when we played football against each other, and he would tape who tapes their shoes and their ankles when they're playing flag football?
Yes, him.
And I go, dude, what is going on here? and we played basketball, and he picked me up full court. And, it was like slapping the floor. He was going to guard me full court.
Yeah.
And I was having nothing of it because I was like, hey, I'll come out. I just want to play. I just want to sweat. I don't want somebody picking me up full court. And I'll be damned. First time I got the ball, Stewart's there, full court. But he did it the entire time. The entire game, he's picking me up full court. Oh, he's bodying me, everything. It got to the point where I was dribbling the ball, and I said, where do you want me to bleep and score on you? I said it right to his face. I was so angry. I was so angry because I'm like, God, I don't want to be competitive because I'm such a jerk. And I was dribbling and I'm talking to him. I said, where do you want me to score on you? And he didn't say a word, which was wise because I was going to light his ass up. And you know who called me? Jason Jackson said he heard that story and he goes, 100% true what you said. I go, I wasn't lying. He goes, oh no, if anybody ever says that didn't happen, that's 100% true what you said about you and Stewart. I went, yeah. Oh man. Booyah. Hey, great DP, to talk to you.
Same here, man. Thank you again.
Love listening to you in London.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. You'll hear me in Germany. But in the meantime, everybody should get your book, The Occasionally Accurate Annals of Football. Take care of yourself, Deep. Oh, you got to go? Is that what's going on? You gotta head out? Okay.
Yeah. I thought that I was off camera. I was checking my phone.
It's okay. It's all right. I've never had a guy start doing Wordle on me at the end of an interview, but it's okay. You're the best, DP. You take care.
Yeah, I just want to make sure and see if anybody said they like my appearance or anything.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
At DP Show.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
All right, DP.
All right. Thank you, guys.
The great Dan Patrick, everybody.
Hey, Dan.
Always great. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.